Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Mickey in Minutes. I'm your host, Nick Lazaga, and this is the weekly top three, my thoughts on the biggest Disney news stories from the week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments down below so that we can make this a conversation. If you missed last week's show, I talked about what I considered to be the three biggest announcements from the D23 Parks panel, or they call it the Experiences Showcase, right? Horizons. So tune into that to hear what I thought about those announcements. On this episode, the news might seem a little less important by comparison, but trust me, it's actually not. It's very, very, very cool stuff. So let's jump right in. All right, so this is a weekly top three. That means 15 minutes on the clock, and here we go. So the first story I want to talk about is pretty exciting, and that is that Disneyland has broken ground on a brand new parking structure. Woo! You might be thinking, Nick, really? Your lead story is a parking structure being constructed at Disneyland? Yes, it is my lead story, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because this parking structure means that we're one step closer to this brand new entrance plaza for Disneyland. And I don't know if you've seen this concept art, guys. If you haven't, go look this up. It is beautiful. They released it a few months ago, I guess, maybe a year ago. I don't know. Time is weird. But this concept art shows a new entrance plaza with a pedestrian bridge that goes over the monorail tracks, taking you from this new parking area over the road, over the monorail, into the new entrance plaza. And it has a humongous version of the retro Disneyland sign. They're bringing this sign back, guys. It's the one with the yellow rectangle behind the Disneyland D, and then all the other letters are behind the white rectangles. You know, the classic Disneyland sign. I love it. I love it so much. And the fact that they're breaking ground in this new parking structure means that we're one step closer to getting that. This new parking structure is at the current site of the Manchester cast member parking lot, which will, of course, be this new parking structure connected by the pedestrian bridge. And all of this is to service the fact that Disneyland will, hypothetically, I guess, be even more in demand, if you can even believe that, more in demand for Disneyland because of all these new things coming. Guys, we just had D23 before, was it last weekend? And they just talked about Disneyland kind of a lot. We have two new attractions coming to Avengers Campus. We have Avengers Infinity Defense, which I was skeptical about at first, but it actually looks really, really awesome. And of course, the Stark Flight Lab, which just looks like good fun, right? And of course, we have the Coco Dark Ride coming soon, which, yes, give me a Disneyland style dark ride anytime. And of course, the big one of the biggest announcements of the night at D23 was that Tomorrowland at Disneyland is being reimagined. So they must have really, really high expectations for how successful all of these projects are going to be, because this new parking structure is going to be pretty big. Approximately 6,000 new parking spaces and spaces for electric vehicles. So, you know, this is going to be pretty big, and the entrance plaza is going to be absolutely gorgeous. Oh yeah, the forgotten project, Avatar, which is supposedly eventually coming to Disneyland. That's going to be another draw, I guess. I mean, I'm not a huge Avatar fan. I'm one of the people who's kind of against that project, but I digress. So this is all kind of part of what we've been calling Disneyland Forward, right? Which is this big expansion of the Disneyland Resort. Of course, a lot of people are expecting Disneyland Forward to have all these new rides and attractions in expansions of Disneyland and DCA. But of course, it all starts with adding new parking and this brand new, beautiful entrance plaza. So they had a groundbreaking ceremony. I guess that was yesterday, the 24th. And There we go. We're one step closer. I will say, as somebody who visits Disneyland as a guest all the time, because of course I don't live in California, I think that the walking up entrance is kind of blah, right? I guess I'm used to Walt Disney World where, you're in this bubble and you have the giant archway and it's just amazing. But coming up to the, what is kind of a smallish sign and just walking by the berm, which of course is necessary, but it just feels a little lackluster considering that, this is Disneyland, right? So I feel like what we're getting eventually with this new entrance plaza is going to be more like what you feel like the entrance to Disneyland should be. And of course, there's other construction happening to make way for this and other parts of the expansion, like the removal of all the ticket booths that used to be in the Esplanade. And that's a little heartbreaking for me. I love those ticket booths. I feel like they should salvage one of them, pick it up and move it, put it in downtown Disney or something. I don't know. Put it in the front of Disneyland and sell a churro out of it, right? Just I think they should preserve one of them, but I don't know. I know the other ones are kind of being demolished to make way for Portos, which is kind of random, but I will say, as a Cuban man myself, Portos, spot on. Very good. I like it. So, I don't know. A lot of construction going on at Disneyland, lots to be looking forward to. And of course, a lot of this starts with this new parking structure. But, anyways, let's move on to the next story. Let's go over to Walt Disney World and let's talk about Epcot. And actually, one of my favorite quaint little things, little details over in Epcot, I'm talking about the Germany Train Garden. So, if you've ever been to Epcot, this might be overlooked by some people who are running from attraction to attraction, or, maybe you had a couple too many and just walk right by it. But in the Germany Pavilion, there is this train garden, and it has these trains that run through it and a whole village and all these little characters and people. And it's always been such a fun thing. They decorate it for the different festivals that are happening. So if it's food and wine, they'll put a little food and wine banner and stuff. And it's just so cute. But recently they've been doing some renovations on it and it looks even better now. And what I think is hilarious is while they were doing this, they put like miniature construction walls up that said, "Pardon my pixie dust," all tiny, and little construction vehicles. But they are doing such a great job with this. They're adding some fresh new buildings and new characters and some Easter egg characters, which I guess I'm going to spoil a little bit here. So one of the buildings they've added is these archways and clock tower, which is just like the actual entrance to the beer garden restaurant in the Germany Pavilion, which is just so cute. They've added the Snow White's cottage, which again, adorable. All right, I'm describing a train village, so I'm going to use the words cute and adorable over and over again. But it just looks so beautiful and refreshed. And some of the Easter eggs, they have a little tiny dream finder hanging out in there. Of course, that's a nod to the fact that he is coming back. Dreamfinder coming back along with Figment in a new reimagined version of Journey into Imagination. So that's really exciting. That was announced at D23. But a little Dreamfinder is super cute. And the one that just makes me laugh so hard is there's a little Dr. Seeker. So Dr. Seeker, of course, was the scientist in the now defunct attraction Dinosaur from Animal Kingdom. And of course, that attraction is being replaced by Indiana Jones and the Myth of the Jade Serpent. So that's exciting. But Dr. Seeker, he lives on in miniature form, and he's like running away holding a little dinosaur egg in this figure. It's so cute. So many other details. They have like the entrance to the mine for the dwarves, and they even have like the little like cliff with the boulder that eventually crushes the old hag, right? The queen in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen that extremely old movie. But anyways, this train village just looks incredible. Oh, and look, there's even a little figure of the old hag herself. So this looks amazing. I love the fact that Disney is taking the time and the resources to touch up the train village in Germany. It's such a small thing that it warms my heart that they're keeping up with this and making it beautiful and adding new things to it. This is one of those things where like no one, you don't have to do this. You don't have to keep up this little thing. People don't pay lightning lanes to go see this. It's not something that generates revenue. It's just something that makes people smile. And that's what I'm so in love with where the Disney company is today. And I don't want to spoil the next podcast episode by talking about it now, but the fact that Disney cares and that Disney is doing so much to show us that they care again, it warms my heart. And of course that is evident in the little things like this and the fact that they've taken away a lot of the trash cans that people would eat their festival foods on at Epcot. They've replaced them with these solar powered trash cans with these solar panels on top. And, people were like, where am I going to eat my festival food? Disney cares. Disney has been adding these little little standing tables attached to railings near like flower gardens and stuff like that, which I saw those in DCA and I always thought that Epcot needed those, and now they're adding them. It's wonderful. These little details, which are the things that make us love Disney. So anyways, I got about 4 minutes left. So I got to get to my third story here on the weekly top 3. But this train garden, chef kiss. Beautiful. Great job. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is the fact that Disney World's 55th anniversary is coming up in like 2 months, guys. October. I just feel like this snuck up on me. I feel like we just had the 50th, right? But of course, we've got a first look at some of the merch coming for the 55th anniversary of Walt Disney World, and I like it. So they have this new logo where it has like a circle with like the globe in it, from the old Walt Disney World logo. And then above that is a 55, but the bottom swoops of the fives attached to the circle to make a Mickey Mouse shape. And it is just such a cute design. I really, really like this. So they have a t-shirt with that on it. It says 55 magical years. It has Mickey in like white and red striped pants with a blue blazer, holding like a little hat, little like fedora hat, and he looks fedorable. Of course, has the castle behind him. I just love this Mickey that they're using for this design. He's like he has like the white face instead of like the tan color face, and it's just so retro, so beautiful. There's a sweatshirt coming out that has 4 park logos on it. That same Mickey in the middle. It says Walt Disney World, but it has like the Florida flag sticking out of it, like the old logo. And it has that 55 magical years logo that I described behind it. And it has a really great Walt Disney quote that says, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." I love that. I love that quote. Of course, I'm a sucker for Walt Disney quotes in general. But they also have a pair of ears that are similar to that sweatshirt design with the 4 park logos, which look pretty cool. I like them. They have, of course, Tower of Terror representing Hollywood Studios and the Tree of Life, and Spaceship Earth and the castle as well. So I'm excited to see more merch come out for the 55th and see what Disney is planning. I know the 50th was kind of a big deal, even if some of the plans they had for it fell through because of COVID. But I had a great time visiting during the 50th. I loved Disney anniversaries. I love buying merch. Right. So go check out these new merch teasers and tell me what you think in the comments down below. And I guess with about 1 minute and 20 seconds left, I have beat the clock. I talked about what I consider to be the 3 biggest Disney news stories from the week. You may not agree with that, but these are the things that I was excited to talk about. And of course, Since I'm the host, I get to pick. So leave your comments down below. What do you think of the new entrance plaza and all that stuff coming over to Disneyland since they broke ground on the parking structure? Let me know what you think of the train garden. Do you think it's worth refurbishing? Do you look at that every single time you go to Epcot? Because I absolutely do. And of course, let me know your thoughts on the Disney World 55 merch. But with all that being said, I'm your host, Nick Lazaga. This is Mickey in Minutes, and I will see you next time. Bye.